Good morning, children. Welcome to the English session. Today we shall deal with the lesson The Sound of Music by Deborah Cowley. Here the story is divided into two parts with the story of two great personalities. So let's explore the stories. In the first part, we come across a little girl of about 17 who was nervous for the coming train. It was her first day at the famous Royal Academy of Music in London. She was deaf, so she was facing a bigger challenge in life. Evelyn Glenn was from Scotland. She lost her hearing gradually. Her mother saw it when Evelyn was 8 years old. Evelyn hid this growing weakness from her friends and teachers. By 11, her marks lessened. The headmistress told her mother to take her to a specialist. It was known that her hearing loss was due to gradual nerve damage. She was advised to wear a hearing aid. But Evelyn was determined to lead a normal life. She wanted to pursue her interest in music. One day, she saw a girl playing xylophone. She too decided to play. Most of the teachers discouraged her, but Ron Forbes recognized Evelyn's talent in it. He told her to listen it not through ears, but sense it some other way. Evelyn said that suddenly she could feel the higher and lower drums differently. She could also sense certain notes in different parts of her body. She could open her mind and body to different sounds. She never looked back. She toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra. She had decided to make music her life. She auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music in London by playing the xylophone. There she scored the highest in its history. She moved from orchestral work to solo performances. After her 3-year course, she had got most of the top awards. She is not proud of her achievements. She says that if one knows one's goal, one can get it. She is now at the top. She is the world's most wanted multi-percussionist. She has mastery over 1,000 instruments. Without hearing, she functions with ease. She speaks fluently with Scottish lilt. She learned French and mastered basic Japanese. She says that music pours in through every part of her body. At times, she plays the xylophone. She can sense the sound passing in her fingertips. She feels the sound of the drums when she leans on them. She removes her shoes on a wooden platform. She does so to feel the vibrations in her body. In 1991, she was awarded the Soloist of the Year award. It is the most famous award of the Royal Philharmonic Society. Master percussionist James Blades says that God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her something extraordinary. Evelyn says that she's a workaholic. She has to work more harder than classical musicians. She gives regular concerts. She also gives free concerts in schools and hospitals. She gives priority to young musicians. Anne Richlin of the Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children says that Evelyn is a shining inspiration for deaf children. Evelyn has brought percussion to the front of the orchestra. She is an inspiration to the handicapped. She has given great pleasure to millions. In the second part, we find the Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of Pongi in the palace. The reason was that it had a sharp and unpleasant sound. A barber thought to improve it. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem. He made 7 holes on its body. He played on it, closing and opening some of these holes. It produced a sweet sound. He played it before the royalty. It needed a name, so it was named after the player. He was a Nai, a barber. It was first played in the Shah's chambers, so it was named Shenai. The sound of the Shenai was considered auspicious, so it was played in temples and at weddings in North India. Earlier, it was part of the traditional music groups. Ustad Bismillah Khan has brought it onto the classical stage. Bismillah Khan was born on March 21, 1916, in a family of musicians in Bihar. His grandfather, Rasul Bas Khan, was the Shenai Nawaz of the Bhojpur king's court. His father, Paigambar Bas, and the other ancestors were great Shenai players. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played gilli danda near a pond in Dumrao in Bihar. He would go to the nearby Bihariji temple. There he would sing the Bhojpuri Chaita. At the end, he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kilo. It was on behalf of the local Maharaja. This happened 80 years ago. This little boy later earned the Bharat Ratna. It is the highest civilian honor. The young boy Bismillah Khan took to music early in life. At 3, his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Benares. He was attracted towards his uncle's practice to Shenai. Soon he started going with his uncle Ali Books to the Vishnu temple in Varanasi to play the Shenai. Soon he started practicing the playing of the instrument. For years, the temple of Balaji and Mangla Maya and the banks of the Ganga became the places where he could practice. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to invent new ragas. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. In 1937, he bagged 3 medals at a music conference in Calcutta. The opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 became a big break for him. He became a Shenai player on radio. Bismillah Khan was invited by Pandit Nehru to play the Shenai from the ramparts of Delhi's Red Fort, and he became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shenai on August 15, 1947. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan. King Zahir Shah was deeply impressed by his Chennai. He gave him priceless Persian carpet. Film director Vijay Bhatt was greatly impressed. He named his film Goonchuti Shenai after the instrument. The film was a hit and his composition Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya became a record breaker. Bismillah Khan's music in films didn't go beyond Vijay Bhatt's Goonchuti Shenai and Vikram Srinivas' Kannada film Sannadhi Appanna. He found the film world artificial and glamorous. He could not compromise with it. Awards came in plenty for him. He became the first Indian to perform at the Lincoln Center Hall in the USA. He took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and in the Oscar Trade Fair. An edition in Tehran was named after him, Tahir Mosik Ustad Bismillah Khan. National awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan, the Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. In 2001, he was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharathiraja. At this, he said, "Teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." Bismillah Khan has traveled all over the world, but he is greatly fond of Benares and Dumrao. A student of his once wanted him to head a Shenai school in the USA. He promised to recreate an atmosphere of Benares by making temples there. But Khan Sahib asked him if he would transport River Ganga there. He says that whenever he's abroad, he yearns to see Hindustan. While in Mumbai, he thinks of only Varanasi and the holy Ganga. And while in Varanasi, he misses the Matha in Dumrao. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of rich cultural heritage of India. It accepts that a Muslim like him can play the Shenai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. The summary of the story. The Sound of Music is divided into 2 parts. Each part focuses on 2 musicians, Evelyn Glenn and Bismillah Khan. Part 1 throws light on Evelyn's life and struggles to become a successful musician. What's interesting is that Evelyn is profoundly deaf. The musician learned to listen to music through her body and not ears. She does not hear music, she feels it. Nonetheless, that did not stop her from pursuing her career in music. Thus, her teacher, Ron Forbes, was the one to recognize her talent. He unlocked doors to her potential and helped her achieve the impossible. She is now one of the most renowned names in the music industry. She has many accolades and awards to her name and serves as a great inspiration to the specially abled community. In the second part, we learn about Bismillah Khan as well as the origin of Shenai. It was Bismillah Khan who popularized this instrument and took it to the world stage. He came from a family of musicians. Further, Bismillah Khan had a very secular upbringing. He grew up practicing on the banks of River Ganga. He went to the mosque as well as the temple. After achieving immense success, he was awarded various titles. He is also a recipient of the highest civilian award of India, the Bharat Ratna. In addition to that, he has won all 3 awards of Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, and Padma Vibhushan. Interestingly, he was the first person to be invited to play Shenai at the Red Fort in 1947 while greeting independent India. Most importantly, he represented India on the international stage as well. An auditorium in Tehran is also by his name. Moreover, despite many opportunities, Bismillah Khan never left his hometown Varanasi. He dedicated his life to music and passed away in 2006. Thus, we have come to the end of the session. Thank you and have a nice day.